What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of iFishLI. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to catch fish on a cinder worm hatch, specifically striped bass. So if you guys don't know what a cinder worm hatch is, basically in the spring when the water temperature is right, the tide is right, everything's right, cinder worms decide it's time for them to spawn. And cinder worms are like 1 inch, like a rusty brown colored worm that normally live in the mud and just dig around in the mud, but when they have to spawn, they come up to the water surface and like swim around, dart around, and they spawn. And this makes a really easy meal for striped bass. Just really easy pickings. They slurp them, and even bigger striped bass sometimes come up into the bays to feed on these hatches because it's just a really easy meal. And the issue with these hatches is that it's not actually a hatch, it's a spawn. But the issue with them is that it makes it very difficult to catch the stripers because they're totally keyed in on the 1 inch long profile and rusty brown color. So you got to match the hatch perfectly, or else you're going to just not catch any fish, because even the bigger fish are not going to go out of their way for a more difficult, bigger meal if you're throwing a bigger profile. So I'm going to tell you guys in a second how you guys can do that. But for starters, everything that I'm going to be showing you in today's video, you can get from Capture Bait and Tackle. I work at Capture Bait and Tackle and Jones Beach Bait and Tackle. You get everything in the video at both these shops. The staff at both shops are really, really good, really helpful, great people. And I really love working here. And it's just got everything you need. Good rod combos. Great surf rods. We got ODM rods, great rods, great reels. Right now we've got mostly Tsunami, but we're getting in a bunch of Shimano products very soon, and some Penn reels and everything. All the plugs you could need, everything. I'm looking at all of it right now. So come in, say hi, and get anything you'll really need. So into how to catch striped bass on a cinder worm hatch. So most of the time people really only use flies, and most people think it's only possible to catch them if you're going to be using a fly rod, but that's totally not the only way to catch them. You can use spinning tackle, which I'll show you in a second, but I caught my first couple on the fly, my first ever striped bass on the fly on the cinder worm hatch, and then I figured out how to get them on the spinning tackle. But I'll roll some pictures later on of the fish on the fly, and then proof that you can catch them on a spinning tackle as well. I couldn't film at the spot that I was fishing because it's a kind of a secret spot, but I can show you guys some pictures. All right, now I'm going to show you how to rig up the setup to fish for striped bass on a cinder worm hatch with spinning tackle. So you are going to need a 1/4 ounce jig head or lighter, or even weightless if you can throw weightless on the setup that you're using. But you're going to need a beefy enough hook to be able to handle a pretty decent fish, because the biggest fish we caught, my dad got a 10-pound bass that I'll roll a picture of later. But you're going to need 1/4 ounce jig heads or lighter, and then you're going to need gulp sandworms. You could either use the original sandworm or the bloody sandworm, and they also make these in a smaller size that you don't have to trim up. But all right, I'm gonna open these up and show you guys what you can do. So sandworm looks something like this, and then you're just gonna take a jig head. Okay, rig the sandworm on how you would normally. I like just rig any soft plastic. Doesn't have to be super pretty. You just want to cover the entire base of the hook. Thread it on like that, and then pull it back like this. Kind of straighten it out. I went too far, I think. So rig it like that. Straighten it out, and then just rip it so it's like about 1 inch long. And literally this is what I was using to catch them. Could be a little straighter, Doesn't really matter though, as long as it's the 1 inch profile, about 1 inch. Sometimes they're bigger, you can just kind of see when they're swimming in the water, because sometimes they're new lights. You can shine your light, see how big the worms you're fishing are, and try and match that. And then the presentation, you're just gonna either take long casts, hold your rod tip almost straight up, and just do a moderate action with some twitches, and just make sure it's staying at the surface, because that's where the fish are going to be feeding. And then also you can just pitch it if you're in a little bit of current and you see swirls, like fish coming up to slurp the worms. You can just pitch it right in front of them and kind of drift it and just like follow it, like almost like you're drifting a fly. And that worked too for me. So try all different things, but those are the two presentations that really worked for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions about how to do this, you can either drop a comment or DM me on Instagram. And also, again, make sure you come into Capture Bait and Tackle to get the supplies, fish cinder worm hatch. You want to have it in your car just in case you find yourself on a cinder worm hatch, because they're not going to be hitting anything else. And you're going to be really frustrated seeing up to 10-15 pound bass slurping tiny worms when you're throwing big plugs and not getting any hits. So definitely come pick up the supplies, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you guys are new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe, hit the like button if this was helpful, and drop a comment down below if you guys have ever caught any big fish on a cinder worm hatch. See you guys in the next video.